Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Avoda Trading. My name is Jack, and in this video, I'm going to introduce to you guys probably the best SMT indicator that I've used. And yeah, this is awesome. So let me get right into it. So before I get into the indicator, I'll show you just real quick. I've changed to using quarterly theory. I believe it's a lot more accurate way to reprice rather than the time cycles, 90-minute time cycles taught by Zusi. Quarterly theory is just the truth. So look into it. I'm not going to go into quarterly theory, but I want to share that a little bit because a huge part of quarterly theory is sequential SMT, meaning that they're only tracking SMT is only valid if it's the previous quarter or the previous cycle. Each cycle is one quarter, right? So I want to share that because that's how I have my settings set up. So let me turn off this here. Okay, let me turn this off. Let me just have this and the quarterly cycles down there as the only ones um, open here. So let's do that. Okay, um, so right now, as you can see, there's these SPs that are happening. I'm on the 1 minute. If I go to the 1 hour, you'll see the weekly SMT here, a daily SMT here, another daily SMT here. So they're tracking all these SMTs, the weekly. You can go up to quarterly if you want, monthly. Um, and what's cool is that once an SMT it says SMT live, meaning that it's still live, and it'll confirm once, in this case, the week is closed. Same with the daily once it's closed. But I've got my own ways to validate an SMT, obviously, so I don't just rely on this solely based on order flow. But let me get into the settings, and I'll show you guys how I have it set up. So right now, we're probably going to draw back up to this previous day high and to this gap up here, probably our next draw. Um, and let me just get into this here. So first, you can set a time zone, all that stuff. Uh, you can do the offset. The main thing is that you can choose the symbols that you want to have SMC with, and then you can either check to have just NQ and ES, or ES and YM, whatever you want to do in these combinations. And so how I have it set up. I know with prior with Zusi's 90-minute cycles, the start time was 2:30, but now I've set it back just to 00 at start time, and then end time is at 1800. So so that's how I have it set up. So the first SMT cycle, you can choose different minutes to have as your custom SMTs. And so with quarterly theory, this is a 6-hour cycle, right? So it's 360 minutes. So that's what that looks like. Um, the look back, if I want to have sequential, I can just have one look back, meaning it'll just track the previous cycle. So if you want to track, 5 look backs back or whatever it is, then you can track that. But for me, because I'm just trading sequential, I only want to see sequential SMT. I only look back once. So, and then I can choose, of course, all the settings of how I want to style it, small, tiny, um, the color of the bullish SMT, the color of the bearish if I want to change that, and the color of the label if I want to change that. I've got it just set to white for the time cycle. Let me show you what this looks like. 360 time cycle, because we just had a session SMT just now play out. So this is a session SMT, meaning that this AM session had a SMT with PM. So PM took this low, whereas I'm sorry, YM took this low, whereas uh, NQ did not, and so that's why we're getting this retracement up and this bullish retracement up. So that's that 360 SMT plus it's a daily SMT as well. So anyways, let me get back into the settings here. So I have that set up, and then I have 90-minute cycles. Again, look back as one, same settings. And then a quarter of 90 minutes is about 23 minutes. So I have another 23-minute cycle. And then a quarter of that is about 5.5 minutes and something seconds. So I have another 6-minute SMT for that, for our nanocycles. So I don't want to get too deep into quarterly theory, but these are just based off the quarters of each. A quarter of 360 is 90, a quarter of 90 is about 22.5. So I was rounding up to 23. a corner of 22.5 is about 5 minutes and some seconds, which I rounded it up to 6. So that's what that looks like. So for the smaller quarters, I chose not to have my opacity at 0, so I don't want to see the label for that. I just have a dotted line instead of a solid line. And so, and then for my 23-minute SMTs, I have a tiny, a smaller label. Where is it at? 23-minute label right here. It's tiny. So you can design this however you want, but for me, it just makes it easy to read and see which SMTs are most important. Obviously, the higher time frame SMTs are going to be the most important. That's why I chose a width of 2 for this 360, 6-hour SMT, basically session SMT, and that's why I did that. So moving along, you can choose, I mean, up to tons, tons of different options. I only went down to 4, but you can choose up to 6, I believe. And then these are session SMTs, which I don't use because I forget why I didn't use this one. Oh, because the look back, I think I couldn't choose the look back. And so that's why, oh, look back days. Um, that's what I only wanted to see sequential. And so, but if you wanted to see, Asia to the previous day to other Asia sessions, and you can look at that. But you can, change your Asia sessions, adjust your London session, adjust your PM session or AM session, New York AM, New York PM, name this different names. However you want to design this out, you can look at that, but I don't use this section of the SMT. And then these are the calendar cycles. So also this is a different modes for if you do trade futures or crypto, it's different time zones. And then exchange time zone is what I use because it's for futures, right? But um, and then so now this is for the daily, weekly, and monthlies. And so you can look at all these settings if you want, but there's that, there's that. There's the I just have it start as start or end. That's kind of gets the best settings. So start or end, overwrite any plots that matches. Same thing here. And so for my again with this, you could change the different color to blue if you want a bullish daily S&T, and then a red bearish daily S&T if I wanted to change it up. I chose my SMTs here as a dash for my higher time frame SMTs. So for my dailies, I have a dash, and then same thing with my weeklies. I have a dash with 2, but the label size is bigger. Cool thing I like about this too is that you can change where the label shows up. So from a higher time frame SMTs, I want to show it up at the end, not at the center. Whereas my lower time frame, so like for example, let me have those show up again. See how it's showing up at the end candle and not in the center? That way, when I'm on my lower time frames, I can see it show up at where it's showing the S&T. So the daily's not showing up until I actually go back and actually track it. So boom, it'll show up the label, but the actual line won't show up until I actually go back to that swing point in the chart, and then it'll plot it. So Um, anyway, so that's the daily SMT, boom, down here. Then another 360 SMT, SM here. So we got two consecutive SMTs on a higher time frame and a lower time frame, daily and a session. So really high likelihood. This is a really high probable setup right here to go up probably till the next, probably at least to here, probably where we're headed next. Anyways, so that's how that SMT works. And then, so the higher time frames are great because you can design this to weekly. I have it as 2. And then for the monthly, I have it as, yeah, same thing, 2 as well, with 2, label color auto at the end. And then I can even do quarterly SMTs, and then yearly SMTs if you wanted that. But I don't use the yearly. But yeah, all the settings, you can look back, however many look backs. For the monthly, I should just want one monthly look back. Change this up. So the weekly, I just want look back 1 just for the day. And then daily, oops, I put 2 for daily because in quarterly theory, We don't count um, Friday. So I want to see if on Monday if there's an SMT with Thursday. But otherwise, I just look back manually. So that's how I have my settings set up. Again, this is probably the best, most customizable SMT indicator out there that I've used. Beats, you know, TMU's one or some other ones I've used before. Really simple. Um, and oops, yeah, highly recommend it. If you guys are interested in checking this out, uh, I'll leave a link in the description. Right now, I believe they're only doing payments through crypto and through Telegram. So join the Telegram and then you just pay through crypto. It's a one-time fee, which is nice. You don't have to pay monthly. Like I'm not a huge fan of monthly subscriptions for indicators. So I just wanna own them outright and get lifetime updates, which is what they do here. So um, yeah, if you guys are interested in this, check out the link. I think right now they're selling it for about 150 USD. Price is probably gonna go up to 175, I heard USD. So check that out. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Hopefully that was clear on how the SMT indicator works. But yeah, like I said, I think it's got the best features, the most customizable to how you utilize SMT in your trading plan and your we're going right here. Sorry, I'm just reading the chart right now. I'm in live market. This is our next target right here. Engineered buy side liquidity right up here. Unfilled gap or unmitigated gap right here. Yeah. Anyway, so um, if you guys are interested in this, like I said, uh, link in the description. Paid through crypto, one-time fee, which is great. Um, check it out. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.